friends, welcome back to Belle's Library. Today I am starting a new reading vlog and I'm really excited because I'm going to be reading some of my mom's books. Before we jump into everything here, if you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe down below, and I also have my Goodreads and Instagram linked so we can talk bookish on all the platforms. And we're going to go ahead and run through a few of the books that I will be reading for this reading vlog. So basically, I got this idea because my mom and I kind of talk about sometimes what we're reading, and I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of those books, I'm interested. And so she gave me a few of her books that I was like interested in reading that she's read, and then kind of some thoughts that she had on them. So when I actually got these books, it was probably a good like 6-8 months ago or something. So it's been a little bit since she read them, and I've been, tossing around this idea for a while, and finally I'm getting around to it, which is great because a couple of the books are kind of more mystery thrillers, so it's a great time of year to be reading these. But I went back and I was like, Mom, tell me a little bit more about what you thought of these books and how you liked them and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about the books, and then I'll also tell you a little bit about what my mom was saying about them, and then I will read them and we'll see how it goes. So these are the 3 books that I'm going to be reading. So starting with Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I remember my mom saying that she flew through this book and read it in one day, which is not something she does very often. And so I was like, oh, it must have been enjoyable. And so this book is about Ellie and Laurel. So basically, Ellie is Laurel's daughter, and 10 years ago, Ellie went missing. And now we're flash forward 10 years, and Laurel still thinks about her and is still kind of just, feels like she didn't just disappear. She didn't run away. She feels like there's not a lot of closure with that in her life, and she has since gotten divorced. And then one day she goes into a coffee shop and she meets Floyd, and they have kind of an instant connection, and she starts going out with him, and she meets his younger daughter, who is 9 years old and looks exactly like Ellie, almost to a T, when she was that age. And she just finds it uncanny, and things start to kind of unfold from there, and obviously there's going to be some mystery mixing in between the two of those. Now, my mom, when I went back and asked her about this one, she said she doesn't really remember anything about this book. And she's like, yeah, I don't remember. So apparently she enjoyed it in the moment, got through it very quickly, but has since very much forgotten anything about this book. Then we have An Unwanted Guest, and this one this one is kind of an isolated setting mystery murder book. We are set at this inn up in the mountains. Everybody gets snowed in, and then a couple of the guests turn up dead. And so when the second one ends up dead, everybody starts kind of freaking out, and it's kind of like your whodunit mystery type deal, which sounds right up my alley. So when I talked to my mom, she pretty much explained it like that. She's like, it's just kind of this mystery thriller, whodunit. They're all stuck up there at the end. And she said that she really thought that I would like this one quite a bit and that she really enjoyed it. So really excited about this one because I really enjoy good whodunit type mysteries, and it sounds great. And the last book that we will be reading for this vlog is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I was actually really surprised to see this on my mom's bookshelf because it didn't seem like something she would usually grab and gravitate to. And she's like, yeah, me too. But I had a friend recommend it, and she's like, I really enjoyed it quite a bit, actually. I was like, oh, okay. So in this one, my understanding was that we were following this marsh girl who kind of grew up, and she's kind of a little bit wild, and then some kind of kerfuffle happens between her and another man in town, and he ends up dead or something, and everybody seems to be blaming her, and I thought it was something to do with that, but then also more of a historical fiction character build type story. But my mom said that it's really she felt like a survival story about the main girl and her other siblings, I believe it was. that the kids are just kind of left by their parents out in this marsh, and they have to figure out how to get food and money and survive and different stuff like that. And that her favorite part of this was just seeing how the kids figured out how to survive on their own. And so yeah, I don't know. We're gonna find out a little bit more as I get into this book. I know this one's really popular. It is a Reese's Book Club book, and just like a lot of, I feel like, awards have gone to this book, and a lot of people have really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to see what all of the fuss is about on this one. So there's the 3 books that we'll be reading. Now, I do have updates already. So my goal is to read all 3 of these by the end of September. And right now it is the 29th of September, and I just started reading yesterday. So I pretty much had yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's 3 days to finish all 3 of these books. I don't know that it's gonna actually happen, but I'm really wanting to finish these up quickly because I have a very large October TBR. And I don't want this to end up getting pushed into November. So I'm really trying to make some headway and movement with these books and try and finish a book a day. This one I started yesterday, and I'm actually doing pretty good. I only have like 50 pages left. So I've finished 300 pages at this point today, and I should be able to finish this one today, and I'm hoping to start into this one. And this one also, the audiobook's only like 8 hours, so it's pretty short. So yeah, I'm hoping at least these 2 maybe can get finished by the end of September, and then maybe this one will have to go a little bit into October time, but hopefully not too much, like a day or 2 max. I'm gonna try and just finish those out. But so far, Then She Was Gone has been okay. I don't know. I was actually talking to my mom a little bit earlier today about this and trying to remind her a little bit about the plot, see if she remembered anything more about it. And she's like, I really don't. But she's like, I do remember now that there was something at the end that was a really surprising twist. She's like, it really was just like, wait, what? So, I mean, hopefully that'll be good. But at this point, it just isn't super special. Like, I'm enjoying just listening to the story, and I mean, it's a fast read, definitely. Most of the chapters are like 3 or 4 pages, so you just kind of like move through it pretty quick. But I don't know, like, I feel like the author intentionally put very obvious clues throughout so you could figure out what was going on. And you figure out like mainly who kind of did everything by about the halfway point. And then you're just finding out a little bit more about how this crime happened and how Ellie kind of got kidnapped and what happened to her since she disappeared. And you're just kind of figuring out more of those details. And then, I don't know. So at this point, I'm kind of questioning. I've got 50 pages left. There's got to be something more to the story because I've found out so much at this point about the years after she went missing and stuff like that. So there must be some other character that is playing a part into this plot that we just haven't figured out yet. I have some ideas about possibly what the big twist is going to be at the end, so we'll have to see. But it's okay. It's going quickly, and I'm enjoying it. It's just not like anything special at this point. So we'll see how it ends, and I will update you then. Good morning, you guys. Sorry about the rough lighting happening here. It's super early in the morning. It's like 5 a.m. I'm getting ready to head out to the hospital in my scrubs. So yeah, I'm in the garage. I didn't want to wake anybody up, but I did want to update you guys. Today is technically October 1st, and I wanted to have all 3 books read by this point. I didn't think it was going to happen, but I was going to try. It did not happen, but I did manage to finish both of these ones. So 2 out of the 3 are done. Let's go ahead and talk about this one because I've already started talking about this one before. So this one I finished off. The ending was a little more emotional than I thought it was going to be, but not anything that exciting. Like, the whole book was just kind of
level. I don't feel like the end really gave me a shocking ending or anything that just like was exciting at all. I don't know. I thought it was okay, and I mean it did get my emotions like a smidge. I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Not super for me. I'm not sure that the family drama kind of thing really works for me, and I feel like that's kind of where this went. Like family drama thriller type thing. So I think 3 stars on this one. And then An Unwanted Guest. This one I just finished this morning. No, I finished last night. Time is getting away from me right now. I'm very tired and out of it, and 12-hour shifts, they can wipe you out, and I'm gonna do one today. Yay! Anyways, so this one, we're up at that inn, and people start getting murdered, and all the guests are freaking out, and they're trying to cling together. The power's out, there's a huge storm happening. Great setting. Loved the mystery, like who done it. We got this huge cast of characters. There's like, I don't know, 6 or 8 of them or something. So I really enjoyed that piece of it and trying to figure out, piece together who could have done it and what could have happened. And I definitely enjoyed this one a little bit more than She Was Gone. But I still feel like it wasn't anything like amazing. I read it pretty fast, so maybe that's what it was. Maybe it needed to go a little slower so I could cook on it a little bit and think about it more. But overall, this one's still 3 stars, but I definitely liked it more than She Was Gone. And I liked that kind of, yeah, mystery, whodunit type thing going on. I liked the isolated setting. The characters, I feel like the characters maybe could have been developed a little bit more so we knew a little bit more about them and cared a little bit more about them. But yeah, so we've got a couple 3 stars. And then this morning I've been listening while I'm getting ready to Where the Crawdads Sing, and I finished like 2 chapters, so I'm barely into it. But yeah, our young girl, her mom left her and like all her siblings, and she's stuck in this house now with her dad, who's seems like he's kind of abusive and not really much of a dad to her. So yeah, it's kind of where we're at in that story, and she's kind of trying to figure out how to survive without them and go to the store and get food, and just kind of how to avoid her dad. And yeah, so I've just kind of gotten started into that one. Hopefully I can finish it up quick. It is a really long day. Thursdays and Fridays are really long days. So I doubt that I'm going to finish it today, but I'm going to try to at least get through a good chunk and finish this up. Definitely Saturday. I want to be completely done with this and moving on to something else, because it's time for the trick-or-treat-a-thon, and I just want to get into all of my lovely fall and spooky reads for that. So, well, good morning. It's been like a week. We're just gonna slowly kind of work through this when I have a moment and I'm not working on other October TBR stuff. So yeah, I've started to read this. I'm on chapter 5, which is like 35 pages in. We're just a little guy in there. But I just wanted to say hey, because it's been a few days. And this one is about, I don't know that I've given you much of a synopsis, kind of, sort of, but not really. So far we're following a couple different timelines. Our main character, basically back in 1952, she's like a kid, she's like 6-7 years old, and her mom just gets up and leaves one day. Just out the house, bye, doesn't say anything, just walks, never comes back. And then her siblings, older siblings, brothers, sisters, they all just start to leave after that as well. Her pa is kind of more abusive and a drunk, and he just doesn't do well, so it's the 2 of them that are left. And obviously she can't just like go out, and like one of the siblings I think said like that if anybody came around from like an adoption service or that kind of thing, to just hide in the bushes until they leave. And so she's trying to figure out how to survive on her own, and she has figured out a system of pretty much avoiding her pa. So if he's home, she's like out collecting stuff or doing other things, and I don't totally remember where it was at. But basically she's like on her own, and she's trying to figure out how to cook and do things as a 7-year-old. by herself, and she lives in this marsh area. Then we've just gotten like one chapter, I'm pretty sure, from 17 years later, and these boys like find this guy Chase Andrews' dead body and go get the sheriff, and that's literally all that's happened there. So I don't know what that timeline's gonna give us, but that's kind of where I'm at. And yeah, we're just kind of getting into it. So hello, I'm at the park with the kids and on the swing. I don't know that this is gonna work very well, but I'm listening to where the Crawdads sing. I'm like almost halfway through the audiobook right now, and I don't know that I'm liking it that much right now. It's very slow, very character, but I'm not really invested in the character or the story really. We're just kind of watching Kaya grow up by herself, basically figuring out how to survive without parents, how to make money, how to, you know, cook and clean and catch fish and stuff to sell and that kind of thing. And I don't know, I'm just kind of along for the ride at the moment, but it is a little slow, and I find that I don't always want to turn the audiobook on. I'm not like drawn back to it. So I don't know, just figured I'd say hey while they're off busy playing.
Well, I finished it. Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I finished the last book for this vlog, all three of them, and I definitely would say the second half I enjoyed quite a bit more than the first half. The first half I was feeling a little like bored and like things were just moving along a little too slow. I wasn't that invested. I don't think it like really picked up and was really amazing for the second half, but there was a little more intrigue and interest for me. But overall, I really still think this is sitting probably about a 3-star. I guess all three of the books in this video were about 3 stars for me, and that's just where we're hanging with them. So that's kind of how this went. I don't know why I didn't really connect with any of this, because I know so many people have, and it's kind of disappointing that I didn't, because I was really hoping that this one was gonna knock it out of the park, but I don't know, it just was a little bit too slow for me, I guess. I wasn't that interested in how she, I guess, was so poor and then was able to still, like, teach herself enough things and build her life up enough. I don't know, it just never connected to me for whatever reason. And then the whole courtroom drama thing, like, it added a little bit of intrigue, I guess, into the story, but, like, I almost feel like it either needed to not be in the story or it needed to be a little bit bigger of a deal. It just kind of felt weird in the middle of that. So all 3 books that my mom read and enjoyed for different reasons that I was like, ooh, I'm interested as well. I read all 3 of those. They were all 3 stars. So either I need to have my mom rethink some of her thoughts and suggestions, or maybe I need to recommend her some books that I think are really good, and maybe she'll see how those are. Maybe she'll really like them, maybe she won't, maybe we just have very different taste, I don't know. But I found this very interesting to do this little experiment and see what we each thought of these different books. Okay, I am back to wrap things up with these books that I borrowed from my mom and that I was reading to see if I had kind of similar feelings and opinions and if I liked them. So this one was the one that months later she's like, I can't remember anything. Honestly, I'm already starting to forget things about this one. I feel like it's definitely kind of forgettable, average. It wasn't anything spectacular. And then we had An Unwanted Guest, which she thought I would like, and I know she really, really enjoyed this one. And there were definitely aspects of this that I did enjoy. It just didn't like fully wow me in any way either, although I definitely liked it more than She Was Gone. It just still was kind of an average mystery read for me. And then we had Where the Crawdads Sing, which was kind of a surprising read that she ended up really enjoying, and I can see where she would like a lot more of those survival elements. She tends to like that kind of stuff, and seeing how people grow and change and can kind of overcome obstacles like that. For me, sometimes that works for me, but in this kind of a setting, it maybe in more of a fantastical setting it would work for me, but my mom also does not read fantasy. So that's kind of where things sat there. I actually am very curious if I like recommended and had her read some of the books that I think she would like, if she would like them, or if I just like picked out myself certain things on her shelf that might work. But these were books that I wanted to read anyways and that I was interested in. And when she picked them up, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of those and that sounds intriguing. And I wanted to read these anyways. So that's kind of almost what happened anyways. And they kind of just were a flop. But I read a lot more books than she does. So these themes may be things that I've just read before or whatnot. And that's why I didn't enjoy them as much. I don't know. So, but that's kind of where we ended up at. They were just all 3-star reads for me. They were okay. Nothing too spectacular. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and reading these books with me. And I will talk to you guys super soon.